You see a lot of stuff on the news talking about people of color or black and brown people. Black people on paper, on their driver's license and stuff like that, are not classified as brown. Brown is not a race. People of color is not a race. And the funny thing about when they say people of color, most people that they call people of color on their paperwork is classified as white. Most Latinos that come to America, their driver's license says their ethnicity is Hispanic or Latino, but their race is white. That's why when you see stats that say there are more whites on welfare than there are blacks, that's because they're counting the white people and they're counting the Latinos as white also, and that's a trick that they use. So when black people say black people are always harassed by the police, but they say, well, according to the stats, according to the official record, there are whites that are harassed by police more than blacks. That's because the whites that they're calling, the people that they're calling white, are usually Hispanics or Latinos. And another thing is like you can't call black people African American because Africa is a continent. So what part of Africa are we from? And Charlie Theron, the pretty white actress that played in the movie, I think it was I forgot. She played in the movie with Keanu Reeves. I forgot the name of it, but she's an attractive lady. But she's from South Africa, so she comes to America. Does that make her African American? But the funny thing is, like, how the term white came about is because when Europeans first came to America, they called themselves pilgrims. Then they went from calling themselves pilgrims. Inquirers kept Europeans to not come to America to running from religious persecution. They could have hidden anywhere in Europe and practiced their religion. But when they first came to America, they were called pilgrims. No, they were called pilgrims. Then they went from being called pilgrims to be called Puritans. They called themselves Puritans and they called black people heathens. Then they went from calling themselves Puritans to calling themselves Christians. But when black people started getting baptized, they couldn't use that as a term to create a distance between us and them because you had black Christians and you had white Christians. So they started calling themselves English. But when the country started getting the influx of Europeans from other parts of Europe, you had terms like Irish American, German American, Italian American. But black people was like, how? I'm African American. So they couldn't use that anymore, so they just used the term white. And all Europeans that come to America sit under the umbrella that classify them as white. That's how. And plus, the term white took on as slavery enriched the country. The color white took on a significant meaning, and that's why he said, "I'm white and you're black." And that's where the term came from.